water is slippery.
For our veterans and others, and accelerates access to personalised targeted treatments. As you have heard, many veterans and others experiencing mental health disorders, they go through up to years of trial and error, trying one treatment that doesn't work, trying another and not knowing why. My work at Stanford and with my colleagues is to develop brain-based tests that can be measured right now in our VA and other locations that help us understand why these new treatments work and who they'll be most effective for. So with your mandate, we are in a position to really accelerate saving lives of many more people and getting them well sooner. And I believe that with this, the United States will be the first country in the world to treat mental health like we do cancer and like we do many other chronic mental illnesses.
There's a lot of countries that want to do this, and they haven't been able to. They won't follow us.
Oh yeah, coffee would be
Very
nice.
strongly. Thank you very much.
How about a cheese?
Anybody else? You guys okay? Everybody's right?
Reminds me of the side of the Mediterranean in the middle of the day.
The best research in the
Oh,
world.
maybe Paul.
Okay, it's my honor.
That's nice. Huge free to have it.
That's a good one.
That's lovely. Look at that. So beautiful. What I have to do is get the camera here, over there. How do you do that? Usually, use your special camera, good at camera skills.
This is such an important subject.
Okay, bring it over there to the top.
Just speak for itself. And we'll be talking about it later. We have very good conversations going on. It's working out very well. What cute is that? I've been doing it for 47 years. Nobody ever took them on. We took
Straight
them on.
onto the
They
aircraft.
have no Navy, they have no
Onto the
Air Force.
aircraft.
They have no leaders, they have no nothing. Actually, their leaders are, it is regime change. We call that enforced regime change. But we're talking to them, they wanted to close up the strait again, you know, as they've been doing for years. They can't blackmail us. In fact, a lot of the ships are coming up to Texas. I don't know if you know, in Louisiana, the ships are coming up, they got used to it. Maybe they'll keep doing it. It's worked out pretty good. But it's going actually along very well. And we'll see, but we'll have some information by the end of the day. We're talking to them. And, you know, we're taking a tough stand. They've killed a lot of people. A lot of our people have been killed. A lot of your fellow soldiers have been killed over the years by Iran. The roadside bomb. Soleimani, I killed Soleimani. He was making the explosive form penetrators. They're making them in Iran, bringing them to Iraq, and blasting through the vehicles. Well, he was the father of the roadside bomb, essentially, and he killed a lot of people. When you see soldiers or others, but soldiers generally walking around with no legs, arms, and face that's been smashed, that was Soleimani, that was Iran that did that. So we have a much different view on it than other presidents. They've gotten away with murder for 47 years. They're not getting away with it anymore. Does anybody have any questions with the great professionals, please?
So I wanted to know, could this potentially ever be available from the VA? You know, because I was talking with your you guys have been down in Mexico together, but it's really expensive, and this is another job that's expensive.
We have the right guy, us. Let's go. Where are you good for this question? You're talking about expensive and availability.
So I spoke to Doug Collins. Obviously, both he obviously pays for the VA and he pays for Medicare, Medicaid, children's health insurance. Are very focused on the results that the NIH and FDA are going to offer us. We have a mechanism of creating models, CMMI, that might be the wise way to go because we can continue to study the impact. This is such a massive shift in how you deliver care. Imagine instead of taking a pill a day for depression, you go through one treatment, but you have to have people watching you. It's a very different world. So we're working that through. That's why the president, I think this is the perfect step to get everything rolling, to deliver on the promise.
What time would you say that before you know?
We could have a streamlined model that we would announce by the end of this year. But the reason I'm not committing to that now is I want to make sure that the FDA and NIH have time, along with the great scientists, to give us a bit more information about how to deliver care. I'll give you one concrete example. For things like Ibogaine is a different story, but you wouldn't want two people in the room during the treatment. That's true for many of these approaches. That's a very different way of delivering medicine. And so the models that AIM-7 runs that even for us, and he's done a great job for the president, that would be probably the fastest way of moving forward and give the VA data so they can make wiser decisions, because Doug Collins is very focused on this.
There's one thing I'd add. There's nothing more expensive right now than the mental health crisis. In America, 21% of Americans have a diagnosable mental health condition. The leading cause, the second leading cause of death for young adults today is suicide. Mr. President, the antidepressants right now are the most prescribed class of medications in the country. Over 20% of women are on an antidepressant.
And is that good in terms of do they
There's
work?
highly problematic research on the fact that over 20% of U.S. women are on these drugs that are prescribed for life. We have a mental health crisis, and
Do they work?
No. They don't. I'm on a couple of them.
I would not have.
But, Mr. President, what you and Secretary Kennedy unlocked is for the first time questioning this system, that where we spend 3 times more per capita than any other country in the world, and we are living 6-7 years less. We have the highest rates of suicide and depression in the developed world. The incentives of our
And
system.
by the way, what is it which we're really working hard on, right, Bob?
We have the highest rates of
And we're
pediatric
coming up with some pretty amazing findings.
pediatric cancer. It's the highest rates in the world. We are struggling and paying more than any other country, and the power of this executive order is really representative and gives validation to the cries of Maha moms and the votes of Maha moms, because for the first time it's taking a therapy that's one time. This is a one time, not a lifetime drug that can change someone's life, and that's the power, and I think that's why the system is
So
so
the antidepressants, all that we read about it and we prescribe to our military, they're not very effective.
It's a lifetime drug, and
Well, even if it's lifetime, but do they,
look at what's happened as we've prescribed them and made one of the most prescribed
the
classes.
numbers are not great.
This is
Perhaps
a,
I could jump in from the scientific side.
Thank you, Mr. President. What's the timeline for those?
She just wanted to say something. Oh, I'm sorry.
I think what's really important about your order is you include, we really want to understand why these rapid acting treatments work. We need that for every treatment in mental health illnesses. Standard antidepressants in research, they do work for some people, but certainly not everyone. And if we think of cancer, all other conditions, we have a test to know which treatment
Right, that's right.
is needed, and we don't have that for mental illness. It's guesswork.
This is
So,
tough. With that, it either works or it doesn't work, and you have the result
so
for this, you know.
as part of this order, I think it's really important that we're able to have the investment to understand who does this work for, and the test to accompany that. So thank you for
Do you
making
think
that.
this can be a big step above antidepressants, what we're doing?
I think it can be identifying who doesn't respond to an antidepressant straight away, rather than waiting for years. And
What
being
percentage
able
of people respond positively to antidepressants? How
20 to
much?
30%.
That's not great.
No.
That's not great. Well, thank you very much.
Mr. President, what's the timeline for those with mental health disorders, substance abuse disorders, to readily take advantage of this treatment based upon the executive order that you're signing today?
So I'd like to ask maybe Marty that question.
Sure. So, first of all, right now it's available on clinical trials. We have not had applications in-house at the FDA. There was one that came in under the Biden administration. It was kicked out and not accepted. We now have 3 applications that are imminent, and we'll be issuing vouchers next week. The fastest FDA approval was 42 days during the HIV epidemic. On our national priority voucher program under President Trump, we are now down to that time frame on a routine basis instead of a year. In my opinion, we need the same level of urgency we had with HIV for PTSD and depression and anxiety and our mental health disorder and cancer and heart disease and so many other conditions. So you're going to see decisions out from the FDA later this summer as soon as we get the applications.
That's great. That's great.
And Mr. President, I'd like
I really like that answer.
Thank you, Mr. President. And then in regards to the timing of the executive order, was there not enough known about this treatment a year ago, or 5 years ago, or 8 years ago to sign the executive order that you signed?
So, you want to answer that question? Go ahead.
I'm just at in 2016, the lead professor at Johns Hopkins said this is the most promising therapy that he's seen in his career, and many doctors from leading institutions said that. There's been a hold, there's been incentives against this, and it's the bravery and leadership of President Trump.
So you think artificial barrier?
It started, and this, to be clear, is starting a fast-track scientific process that's subject to FDA approval. But this has been known among leading institutions for many times as a very promising therapy.
So could it not have been signed in your first term, or there just wasn't enough information?
Nobody told me about it, frankly. All of a sudden, I've been getting a lot of calls. I think a lot, in all fairness, I think a lot's been learned over the last few years.
I mean, a lot has been learned over the past few years. And I think in the first term, if I was standing behind the president, I would be much more comfortable than thanks to the research that's been done. I mean, still a lot more to do. It's worked for so many people. It's really a great move to do this. But the research is really important because we're going to keep improving, keep learning, and make sure that the people get the treatment they need when they are depressed, when they are addicted, when they have PTSD. We can keep doing the research and also acknowledge the research that's been done. That's when you get good health policy.
And Secretary Kennedy's role, he just doesn't stop. I mean, every day, all day long, until he gets these things done. This is not an easy boulder to push up the hill. And Secretary Kennedy was undaunted, and he'd been talking about it for a while, so he had a passion anyway. But his mentoring has allowed a lot of folks to move this quickly.